Welcome to Paired Adventures. This podcast is intended for listeners 18 and older. It contains discussions about the consensual adult swinger lifestyle and may include mature themes and language. Listener discretion is advised.
All opinions shared are personal and for entertainment and discussion purposes only. This podcast does not provide professional, medical, legal, or relationship advice.
All activities discussed involve consenting adults. We do not support coercion, exploitation, or illegal behavior. By listening, you confirm that you are of legal age and choose to engage with this content. Hey there, sexy listener, and welcome back to Paired Adventures. This is Veronica,
And Philip?
and we are so happy that you're back.
Yeah, so today we are going to talk about the first time that we played solo.
Yeah, that was an adventure.
It was. So I guess we can start this by saying that we've talked a little bit about our play style and how you can change as you go throughout the lifestyle. Some of the experience we had in the past is what brought us to kind of where we are today.
Yeah, so typically Philip and I play together in full swap situations, but every now and then we find ourselves in situations where playing together is not feasible, like if we're traveling, for example.
Yeah. And if one of us might meet someone that we find intriguing, so we call the other person and have a conversation and see if we want to play solo.
Yeah.
And that's what happened on this particular time. So we are going a little bit back in the past, but you traveled out of state.
Yep, I was in New York visiting a friend from high school. And I had been up to New York to visit this friend a few times in the past. And during that time of visiting, I had actually met a New York firefighter. And so I know personally there's a little bit of a fantasy with that, like being with the firefighter or any man in uniform. So the attraction was there. He was definitely a different character than Philip, personality wise. He was very dominant and just had a little bit more of a aggressive personality.
And then, of course, being a New York firefighter, I'm sure that helped.
Yeah, that was definitely just added to the situation. So like I said, I had been up there a few times before and met up with this guy at the bar that we went, my friend and I, to sing karaoke at. And I had spent some time with him before, and we had talked about the fact that I had been in the lifestyle, just kind of, just talking, nothing really serious. On this particular occasion, I went back for a visit, and he had brought up the fact that he had thought a lot about me being in the lifestyle and that it was something that he was curious about and that he might want to try it. So I was like, if you found somewhere to go, because I don't know anywhere around here, but if you had found somewhere to go and you wanted someone to come with you, just kind of your first time, walk you through the ropes kind of thing, I would be more than happy to go with you as long as Philip is okay with that. So I made a call to Philip and I was like, hey, this is the situation. There's this guy, which he already knew about him, and he is interested in kind of trying this out. So would you be okay with me going to an event with him?
And I think maybe a little bit of this could have been pre-planned, because now I'm thinking back, you had lingerie with you.
No, I did not.
Oh, you didn't?
No, it was not premeditated.
Okay, because I was just thinking, I'm like, wait a minute, she ends up in lingerie. Where did that come from?
I had to go shopping.
Ah, gotcha.
Which is my favorite thing to do.
Okay.
So I talked to Philip about it, and my friend and I went to go find lingerie because I can't go to a party with no lingerie. I mean, I could, but who wants to do that? There's no fun in that. So I had an excuse to go shopping, so we went shopping.
Yeah.
Yep.
So when you called me, you were telling me about this individual, and like you said, we had talked about him, I think prior to you even going up there, like, hey, I might hang out with this guy while I'm there. Are you good with that?
Right.
So on.
'cause I had
So
met him before.
right, because you had met him before, he was friends with your mutual friend,
Mhm.
so you had that kinda connection already. So, obviously, we communicated about that, like we talk about a lot. Communication is key, and I was like, "Yeah, like, you're gonna be, 6, 700 miles away. Go have a good time. Just, protect yourself."
Right, and respect the boundaries. Philip wasn't in the dark about there being an attraction to this male in particular, so he knew that, something might happen, not necessarily like lifestyle related, like going to an event, but that there was a possibility of me connecting with this gentleman.
Right, exactly. So, after you called, we talked about it. Yeah, that sounds good. Do you know where you're gonna go?
And I didn't have any idea where I was going to go. So he actually said that he had found a place through some other friends of his that he had met that were in the lifestyle, and he had been exclusively playing with them, and that they had a place that they were going to go, and it was actually in Connecticut.
So it ended up being you and him, and then what? Another couple that drove.
Was going to meet us there,
Okay,
yes.
and they were going to meet you in Connecticut, which sounds like a long ways from New York in my mind.
It
So when
was,
she told me, she called me eventually, and she said, "Yeah, we're going to go to Connecticut," and I'm like, "You're going to do what?"
yeah. So to people in New York, going to Connecticut doesn't seem like a huge thing because they're like, we're just going to go across the river. But in reality, it was about a 2 hour drive.
Yeah, and I'm thinking like she's driving 4 or 5 hours away. I'm like, you're gonna drive all the way to Connecticut to go to a party. There's nothing in New York.
And I was like, I don't know. I mean, I don't know what's in New York. So, anyway, we get into his car and we start the drive over there. Obviously, I'm nervous. I've never done anything with this gentleman other than like we shared a kiss. I'm a little nervous, and we're going to Connecticut, and it gets the nerves up. So, we're driving to Connecticut. We stop. We have to get alcohol, right? So, we always take alcohol with us to parties. We don't heavily drink, but it helps to kind of calm the nerves and let you enjoy the night. So we're looking all over the place for an alcohol store. And I'm, of course, from North Carolina. So I'm looking for like an ABC store. And I'm like, where do they sell alcohol in these places? And so we pull up to this place and it's a package store. He's like, let's go inside. We're going to get our drinks from here. And I'm like, it's a package store. Like, we need drinks. We don't need to mail anything.
So you're thinking that you're pulling up to like a FedEx
Yeah.
or or a UPS store.
Yeah, so I'm like, "Why are we going to a package store? We don't need packages. We need a case of, like, Trulies or something like that." Well, come to find out that in Connecticut, alcohol is sold at places called package stores. I'm sure there's some history to that. I did not look it up before we got on this podcast, but apparently they're package stores. So we go into the package store and we pick up what we need, and then we head over to the location.
Now, is Connecticut like New York? Because I know in the liquor stores in New York, they won't sell anything to mix with. So, say you were going to buy a bottle of whiskey or Jack or Crown, you cannot buy anything else there. You can only buy your liquor.
Yeah, no, you would have to go somewhere else. So we ended up getting drinks that didn't have to be mixed. We ended up getting things like Mike's Hard Lemonade, Trulies, and we actually made like a few stops because we got the drinks, and then I was like, "Oh wait, do you have condoms?" And he was like, "No, I don't have any condoms." And I was like, "Well, you need to have condoms." And so we ended up going to a Walgreens and, picking things up. So if we would have had to pick up mixing drinks, we could have done that.
Makes sense. Okay, so you take this long drive,
Mhm.
2.5 hours from upstate New York to Connecticut.
Not upstate,
Oh,
from
was
the
it?
city.
Oh, from the city. Okay.
Yeah. We were in like the Yonkers area. So we left Yonkers, which is 15 minutes out of Manhattan, and went into Connecticut. And we went into Hartford, Connecticut, which I'd never been to Hartford, Connecticut, so I had no idea what to
I
expect.
don't think we've ever even been to Connecticut besides you going. I've never been.
No, I've never been to Connecticut. Now, from what I've seen of Connecticut, personally, I want to go back. That's just
We are
me.
not dissing anyone that lives in Connecticut, by the way.
No, no, no. That's just it. I was like, wow, this is different. So we end up going to this location, and of course, I don't know what to expect. We end up at it doesn't really look like much from the outside. It looks kind of like just like an abandoned building. And which I'm not like totally put off by that because, we've been to YKW, which was like a warehouse. So,
Hmm.
you never know what's on the inside,
But as
right?
you were driving through Connecticut, at least in the area you were kind of going through, weren't there a lot of like abandoned buildings?
Yeah, there were a lot of abandoned buildings. A lot of the houses kind of looked kind of run down. It was definitely not like a good neighborhood. Like it was not a neighborhood where I felt that we could just pull over and ask somebody for
Mm.
directions. So it was a little rough.
So you pull up to this building and, kind of paint us a picture because I wasn't there. I've never seen this place either.
Yeah, so we pull up and we park in like a little like gravel lot area. It's off of like a main stretch of like road. And the building looks abandoned. And I mean, the paint's chipping on the outside. And your first thought is like, wow, this is not great. But again, like I said, I'm used to pulling up to events that could be in a warehouse setting, so the outside doesn't look like anything special, but when you go inside, it's different on the inside than the outside. So I've learned to not judge
Hmm.
based off the outside, kind of like the old saying like don't judge a book by its cover.
Right. And I think that a lot of the venues, they have to be discreet.
Right. And that's what
Yeah.
my thought was. It's just they're not trying to like advertise what's happening inside. So they're just kind of leaving it to look like the rest of its surroundings and that inside might be better. So I'm like, all right, let's go. So we grab our drinks. He texts his friends and they're like, hey, are you guys here? And they're like, yeah, we're just inside. So we go inside and it turns out that this place is actually a movie theater or used to be a movie theater.
Mm.
So we walk in, and there's a gentleman in what used to be the ticket booth.
Okay. Okay.
And so he is taking our cover charge. So he takes our cover, and then he's like, all right, you guys have fun. And I'm like, okay. So we kind of go up a few like steps and around a corner, and I realize that this place is just an old movie theater.
No welcome video, no special rules, just you pay, you're in,
Yeah, pretty
have fun.
much. There was no safety video, no person like, kind of greeting you, showing you where everything is. It was just like, all right, you paid, you're in, have fun, kind of do what you do. And so we walk around and like I said, this is a movie theater. There are no playrooms
Now,
and
so I'm picturing this. I'm trying to picture this. If we go to our local movie theater, you've got what, 12, 14 different theaters, you've got a hallway, you've got bathrooms, all that. Was it like that, or was it kind of like one of the historic where it was a single theater?
no, like a historical theater,
Okay.
like the one that's in downtown.
Okay. Okay.
So you just like walk in and it's seats and a massive screen.
Wow. Now, were they playing anything on the screen?
Yeah, so on the screen they had porn playing.
That's fitting. Okay.
So it's just like a massive porn. And then there's just like random people scattered around in the movie theater seats.
The seats were still in there.
The seats were still in there.
They didn't remove any and like replace it with a bed.
No,
It was literally just
just seats.
rows of seats.
Just rows of seats.
Oh, wow. Okay.
And now I will tell you this place was old. It was like it's been around through the 50s, the 60s, the 70s, the 80s. It's been there a long time and I'm not a smoker, so it smelled heavily of what a building would smell like that has allowed people to smoke inside of it for years.
Were they currently smoking in there?
I did not see anybody smoking,
Oh, okay.
but the
So
lights
you're
were off.
so the smell you're describing was just kind of
Like
like that
old
stagnant,
yes.
old smell. Okay.
Yes, like old cigarettes, like that, like they had shown movies there for years and allowed people to smoke.
Mm.
So it's just like that old, like musty, like it smelled old and it smelled like cigarette smoke.
Now, I'm imagining the lights were dimmed.
They were completely off,
Okay. So it
just
was
like
dark.
as if you were watching a movie. Yes. So it was dark, just seats, and then just random people places. And then so we were on like the upper level. So there were two levels. We were on the upper level with the chairs, and then there was like a lower level that they had partitioned off with chairs. And I don't know if that was like a special section, but it was still just chairs. There were no beds anywhere, there were no like playrooms. So it's just a movie theater.
Interesting.
So, I mean, I guess if you're looking for like that, like go back in time and like recreate like your high school dating where you're playing in a movie theater, like that would be fun. Or if you had like that fantasy of doing that, like that could meet that type of fantasy.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, you could imagine that you were just there with normal people and it's just like you and your partner kind of fooling around in a movie theater.
Yeah. So, I mean, if that's your vibe, then totally. I will say that it was not my vibe.
Well, the smoke smell, I already know how you dislike the smell of smoke.
Yes.
And then I'm picturing a building that you're describing as 70 plus years old that has not been in commission for a while. So carpets were probably not great.
The seats that they wanted us to sit in had not been cleaned.
Mm,
Probably in numbers of years. And so I was standing there and this guy, he just wanted to have a good time. And I totally understand that. But he's like, "Sit down." He's like, "It's fine. It's fine." And I was like, "I know that you've never done this before, but this is not typical. Like this is not what this is all about. Like this is not your typical swing party setting." And I kind of I was a little mean, and, like, looking back now, I see that it was a little mean, but he's like, "Just sit down," and I kinda told him, I was like, "Listen, the chair that you want me to sit in is not even worth as much as the lingerie that's under this dress."
that was harsh.
And thinking back on it, it was, but what I was trying to convey is, like, I am kind of a little scared to sit and do anything on these seats.
Right.
Like, are they cleaning them? Like, the sanitation? Like, what are the accommodations of cleaning up after these people?
Yeah, because if this is something that's open, a couple days a week and people frequent it, bodily fluids, cloth seats.
Right, and
Yeah.
they weren't covered with anything. Like, there was no, like, they didn't provide blankets or anything to cover the seats. So how are they sanitizing? I was consciously thinking that I could pick something up from being on these seats.
Sounds like it. Okay, so what happened next?
So I basically said, "I know that you want to hang out here, but I really think that the best option would be to find another location."
Okay, and keep in mind, you guys just left New York City, like the city,
Yes.
which, again, you called me. You talked to me several times. So you called me when you were on your way to Connecticut. You called me, I don't know, maybe an hour later, and you're like, we're on our way to New York. And I'm like, what? And then you tell me the story. I'm like, oh my goodness. There's got to be something in the city.
Yeah, and I honestly didn't even look because he had said that he had it planned, he had
Right.
a location. So I didn't even think that I was going to need a plan B. So I didn't look, but I was expecting to walk into what I was accustomed to,
Mm,
and it was definitely not it. So I just basically told him, like, if you want any of this, like, we're gonna have to go somewhere where I feel comfortable,
right.
whether that's like renting a room or, something. But this is not, I can't do it. I just can't. There's no safety.
Mm-hmm. No, it doesn't sound like a great situation. And again, for anyone that might be listening in the Connecticut area, we are not knocking what you guys have up there. We're just saying that for us, it's not what we're used to. That's all.
Right. And I always think about, my protection of like my health. And, that didn't fit what the parameters that I set for myself. I mean, whether that's an STD or simply just climbing on top of somebody in a chair that you could cut your knee on. And then do I have to worry about things like tetanus and you just so many little things like that. And not saying that the place was dirty, I don't know.
It
But
was dark.
it was dark, and the way just based off of my surroundings and what I could tell of the surroundings, it didn't seem clean.
Right. And you weren't comfortable. And I think that's the biggest thing, especially for women. Comfort is a huge thing in safety.
Yeah.
So, in order for you guys to want to play, guys are a little bit different. Some of them. I'm not going to say all. But for women, I believe that comfort and safety are big things. If you're not comfortable and you don't feel safe, you're probably not gonna have a good time.
Right. I was like, let's just like let's reevaluate. Let's go back to the car. Let's leave here and, let's see what we can find, whether that's getting a hotel room, like I'm totally cool with that. Your friends can come with us. I would like to get to know them, all of that stuff, but just not here in this setting. So we go back to the car and I start looking around and there's nothing that I can find in Connecticut, which I feel terrible about.
Yeah, I mean, this poor guy. So he drove 2.5 hours to Connecticut. You're there maybe 15, 20 minutes. And you're like, not happening.
Yeah.
We're going back 2.5 hour drive.
Yep. So I did find a location in the city, which I'm actually surprised that he didn't find because it would have been
Mhm.
closer and would have saved us the trip. But hindsight's 2020. So we end up going back to the city and I'm like, this is like an actual legitimate club. Let's go back and just I know it's inconvenient, but I think that we'll have a better time. So we end up driving back to the city and we are walking down the street and we're like, it says it's right here. And again, non-descriptive because nobody wants advertising like that this stuff is going on. So we get to this like black door on the street and we're like, this is where it says it is. So we're like, okay, what do we do? So do we just open the door? Like, do we knock? We don't know. We've never been. So I knock on the door and someone opens it and when they open the door there's a staircase going up and they're like yeah come on up and I'm like oh okay and then I'm thinking oh my god like I don't even know what we're walking into like I'm hoping that this is the right place or are we just walking into someone's apartment.
Right. In New York City, if you've been there, we went with your cousin and we went, I don't know, club hopping, and you would walk into like some weird things. You wouldn't even expect it. There's just a door. You
Yeah.
walk up like this mile-long flight of stairs that you don't even realize how long these stairs are, and then you're just into a club somewhere. So, I mean, just the whole city in general is kind of confusing.
Yeah.
So you're walking in, black door, no kind of descriptive anything, and now someone's saying, "Yeah, walk up this flight of stairs to what?
Who
Did
knows.
you hear any music going? Like
No,
anything?"
no, no, no. So we walk up the stairs and we come to the first landing in the stairs, and there's like a little room on the side, and that's where we check in. And I will just preface this by saying that if you're going to go to a club in a major city like New York or anywhere like that, it's expensive.
Mm.
So
Do you remember how much it was?
I think it was like you had to get a membership and the membership was good for a year. And I want to say it was like $180. It was
Okay, yeah.
expensive. And so then of course, I'm like, we don't have to, like, I have a hotel room. Like, we can go back to the hotel. New York people are, at least the ones I know, they're pretty like lax with their money. So he's like, it's fine. It's fine. And he's like, I'll come back. So because I live right here, so I'll pay for it. And I think that he only had to pay for a membership and then he could bring a guest. So I counted as the guest. So he only had to spend the one. And I was like, well, you don't have to do it if you're not going to come back, kind of thing. Plus, we don't know if we really even like being here. So
Right.
it's like that's a hard decision to make. I mean, that's a lot of money to spend. But he was fine with it, so he spent it. So we pay for the membership and then they have like a coat room, so they take our coats and all that cuz it was a little chilly. We were still wearing coats and things like that. So they take our coats and then they tell us that the playrooms they have two levels, so it's actually 3 stories. So they have playrooms on the second level and the third, and then they have a door that goes out into basically where their fire escapes.
Oh, okay, okay.
They have a door that goes out into like where their fire escape area is, and that's like where you would smoke.
Interesting. So basically the 2 levels.
Mhm.
You walk in from the street, you go upstairs, then you've got the 2nd floor and you've got the 3rd floor. And there's rooms to play in. Was there music going on? Like what was the vibe?
There was music upstairs, and so it was like it wasn't a large space because
Yeah,
it's New
well,
York,
yes.
and so there were a few playrooms on the second floor, and then on the third floor they had like a bigger area that was maybe intended for dancing, but there was also like some beds up there and things like that.
Okay. All right. So definitely a little bit more what you're used to.
Definitely.
Okay. All right. So you get in this place and What happens? Do you talk to other couples? Does anyone approach you? I mean, was it busy? I'm thinking New York City. There's got to be a crowd there, right? And I believe this might even been a weekend.
It wasn't it actually wasn't busy. There were only really I wanna say there were maybe but including him and I, there was another 2 females that were there and 2 other gentlemen,
Oh wow. Okay.
and that was it.
Slow night.
It was a slow night. So we ended up talking with the 2 other females, and it was their first time being at a club as well, and they weren't really sure like what to do and things like that. So they had a room that had one of those like sawhorse stands that have padding on them, and then you like lay on top of it, and then you can play or do whatever. So they had one of those, and they also had some like dom tools. So they had like the whips and the floggers and things like that. So I actually played with one of the girls and I used the floggers and what is it that they use for this? They use them for horses. It's like flat,
I
but
know what you're talking about. I don't know the name of it, but yeah.
yeah, I can't
Okay.
remember the name of it, but I used one of those because she was interested in experiencing those type of things. But and she had never done it before, and I do have a little bit of experience with some dom play, so I was able to help her
Well, that's fun.
kind of experience
Yeah.
that, and it was a great time.
Well, good. So you met a couple females there. You've got your New York firefighter along your side. This
Yep,
is his first time too.
it is his first time.
So you're pretty much the only one with a little bit of experience in this
Yeah.
and having to take charge here to kind of, I guess, drive the night on, right?
Yep, I was kinda, like, helping everybody with trying to figure things out. There was another gentleman there, his name was Philip too, actually,
Interesting.
and, he had, been in the lifestyle for a little bit, and he was there because he was traveling like I was, and so I spent a little bit of time getting to know him and talking with him, and then towards the end of the night, the firefighter and Philip, we kind of found like a little alcove, and I had both of them that I was playing with. So I was giving both of them head, and
Hmm.
then they were both eating my pussy. And I mean, we didn't do any like full penetration that night, but that's kind of how we settled the night. I mean, we just kind of
A little bit of soft play.
did a little bit of soft play because it was
Mm,
all of their first times
right.
being at a club and we didn't really need to push anything. And plus I didn't really know him that well. I had met him at a bar and I mean this was like the first like kind of big thing that we had done together. So it was fine keeping it kind of soft.
Oh, I'm sure he was good with your head. So that kind of wraps up your solo play. So no full penetration sex, just soft play. You guys went on a wild adventure driving cross state lines, back
Yeah.
again, just I mean, all over the place.
Yeah, and I mean, honestly, like, I feel like too, if there hadn't been so much back and forth, like figuring things out, like maybe the night would have ended a little bit differently. But I think, it's just, it was so much. And then by time we actually got to the point of playing, it was like, okay, like
It's been a day.
it's been a day.
It's been a day. I mean, you got to think probably the first location doesn't even open till I don't know 9 o'clock at night or something.
Mm-hmm.
That's typical of the lifestyle events. Is around 8 to 9 o'clock is the opening time.
Yeah, I don't even
So
think that we got to the club in Manhattan
it was
until
late. I remember you
like
calling me.
12.
Yeah, it was definitely probably midnight getting there. And then now Manhattan's a little different than some of the places we go. They might have stayed open till 4 in the morning. A
Yeah.
lot of places we go close at 2 or 3. So I'm just thinking about the bars we went to. Manhattan's a whole different,
It's
like
a whole
the
breed
city is
of
whole
it never
completely different.
sleeps.
It never sleeps. The wildest thing, we went partying a while back with her cousin, and he took us to some warehouse parties and different things in the city. And it's 5:30 in the morning. I'm like, guys, like I'm tired. Are we going to bed? And he's like, oh no, no, we're going over here to this party. It's gonna last till 8 in the morning. We're gonna then go have brunch and have some mimosas, and then after that, we're going here and here and here. I'm like, you're doing what? Like, what are you talking about
Like,
right now?
when are you going to sleep? But yeah, It is like a different type of world in
It
the
is.
city. They just live so differently. And I mean, you can tell that based off of just the cost of living too. I remember going to lunch with my cousin one time when Philip wasn't with me, and we went to a Mexican place, and I ordered the same meal that I would order here in North Carolina, and it would have cost me here about $12. There, that meal cost me 28. So it's just like a totally different way of life. And I mean, we got to the city the first time we visited, we got there at like 2 a.m. and the stores were still open. Like you could
Yeah.
literally go buy a whole outfit or a brand new pair of shoes at 2 a.m.
That's what really shocked me when we went. The stores stay open till I believe, and I know someone can correct me, but I believe at 6 a.m. They close for like an hour just to do some tidy up, restock, and then they're back open for the day.
Yeah, they bring in
So
like
it's
the
like
next shift of
23
employees.
hours these stores are open in the city. I thought that was insane. You could go and get a whole new wardrobe at 4 o'clock in the morning.
Yep. And you never have to worry about being hungry because
Oh, food
there's
everywhere.
always
Yeah.
something open.
Hmm.
And the dirty water stands, that's my favorite.
Oh, the little hot dog stands on the,
Yes.
yeah. Yeah. Okay. All right. So we wrapped up your time. So for me, same weekend.
Yep, same weekend. You called me and you were like, "Well, I was just wondering, since you're going out and you're going to go to a club, like, would you mind if I go out?" And I was a little hesitant at first because, we don't generally play separately. And I'm the one that's a little bit more hesitant, even though he's like, "Yeah, go do what you want to do." I'm a little bit more reserved on the idea of him going and doing what he wants to do. But I was like, you know what? It's only fair that if I'm going to go out and do something, you shouldn't have to sit at home and not do anything. So go have fun.
So this was a Friday night.
It was a Friday
It
night.
was a Friday night because I ended up going to a spot that we frequented quite a bit. And on Friday nights, it's single men and couples. I go there for the first time on a Friday night. Typically, when you and I go out, it's on Saturdays because Saturdays are couples and single women.
Mm-hmm.
They do allow a few single men in on Saturdays as well, but that's not the primary focus. On Friday, it's flip flopped. They'll allow a couple single women in, but it's mostly single men and couples. So I go and I don't know what to expect either. And when I get there, there was already, I don't know, maybe 20 single guys. I saw a couple couples walking around. I didn't see any single women that night. And there could have been. I just didn't see any. So I start talking, and I'm the introverted one, if you guys haven't picked that up yet. Veronica is,
More of a social butterfly.
yeah, more of a social butterfly, and I'm more introverted until I get to know you. And then I could talk a little bit more. So I'm there without my wingman, and I've got to go and start approaching people. So I do. I talk to some of the guys that are hanging out in the area. I get to know a couple of them. And then I go and I talk to a few of the couples, and then you're just kind of like, what do you do? Because, like, how do you approach this situation? It was still fairly early, maybe 10 o'clock, and it didn't seem like anyone wanted to play yet. Everyone was just kind of talking and getting to know. So, as the night went on, had two couples who knew each other, it seemed. I don't know for sure. I've never met them before. I haven't seen them since. So, there was two couples, and I've talked to both of them earlier in the night. I think what I kind of figured out on Friday nights is the women run the show. So, at least in my experience here, the woman of one couple comes up and she talks to her husband and she calls him daddy in this situation. And she's like, "Daddy, can he join?" And of course, he's like, "Yeah, it's your night."
Mm-hmm.
Sure. So she grabs me, two other guys, and then there was the husband, and then there was the other couple and her husband. Maybe she was alone. No, I think she was. I think she was alone. So there was a single female. So she was alone.
So now you're up to the husband,
There was
the
4 guys and 2 girls. I remember that.
okay.
So 4 guys, 2 girls. All the playrooms are already taken at this point. So it was a little chilly, but North Carolina, it wasn't bad. I don't remember what month this was in. So we end up going to a cabana outside.
I think it was March.
Okay, so it's March in North Carolina can be a little cool at night. Not terrible, but it could be cold. So we go to a cabana outside at night, and there's, what is it, 3 beds there? No, it's 2 in the cabanas, right? There's 2 cabanas side by side.
Mhm.
So there's already some people playing in the cabana next to us. We take the one open cabana, and then, of course, the women start undressing. I undress, the guys are starting to undress, and the women start sucking our dicks.
Mhm.
They're bent over. One girl's playing with the other. She's with her hand. She's sucking someone off. Like, we're starting to get things going. The problem here is that I think in a group setting, sometimes men have what's called situational erectile dysfunction.
Yeah, or performance anxiety.
Right. And I've experienced that in the past, and I'm sure we'll talk about that at some point. This particular night, I was not having those issues, but every other man there was.
In your particular
In
group.
my group, yes. The 4 guys total, counting me, so 3 others. So 2 women trying to get all these guys going, and I'm the only one ready. And that lasted for, I'm trying not to exaggerate here, but at least 45 minutes. I was the only hard dick there. So I'm fucking both these girls, doing all I can to keep them entertained and pleased, and no one else can get it up. Finally, there was a young guy, and I told you about him. He was, I wouldn't say young, he was, I don't know, mid-20s. Um,
But
and
all definitely my type, and
yeah, it was kinda like someone that she would've went for. I think he was in the military, from what I remember. Um, had the military look, younger guy, looks like he would have the stamina, and had a pretty big dick, honestly. Finally, he gets his going, and then he kinda joins in, and it's me and him. The the husband of the one couple never got it going, and the 3rd guy or 4th guy, whatever it was, I guess at some point he might have, but me and military guy kind of tag teamed these girls for a little while, and then probably another 15, 20 minutes, I'm like, "Okay, I'm tapped out." At this point, it's been an hour and a half of just me, and you came in and helped a little bit here at the end, but I'm done. So, I thank everyone, I get dressed, and I'm like, "Okay, I've had enough." And that was my experience.
yeah, and through all of this, he did not get military's guy's
I
information,
did not. We have
which I am still disappointed about.
and we've never seen him since, or I've never seen him since. Um, but I think it would have been someone you definitely would have liked to play with. And when he did finally get going, like he had a pretty decent sized dick on him.
Yeah, that would have been nice.
Yeah. So we experienced kind of playing solo. Now I did a little bit more than you did.
Yeah, you definitely had a better night than I did, but that doesn't say that I didn't have a good night. I mean, it was definitely an experience. It's one for the books. It's a story that we kind of go back and talk about and laugh about. And, just the whole like, wow, like, I can't believe that you found a movie theater
Hmm.
in Connecticut.
Right.
Um, but so, I mean, it's definitely like we just use these experiences as, everyone has their own places that they are comfortable with. And some places don't have a lot of options, and sometimes you have to go with the options that you have. Again, saying that no matter what the situation is, you can say no to something if you're not comfortable. I was in this situation and I did not feel comfortable. As much as it sucked to have to be the one to be like, this is just not going to work for me and change the entire night. I had to do that for myself, and I had to advocate for myself and say, I'm not okay with this situation.
Right. And I'm proud of you for that, because I think some people would have just went with the flow and could have got themselves into a dangerous situation.
Yeah, no, and I do feel that way, like, especially being a woman and I'm with another man who I'm not in a relationship with. I don't know him that well, and just being able to have the courage to say, this isn't going to work for me.
Absolutely. And not knowing his reaction. Seems like he was pretty stand-up guy.
Well, right. I mean, I'm 2
Like,
hours away from where my
yeah.
friend lives.
Like, what if he would've just left you in
I
Connecticut?
know. I mean, it could have definitely gone wrong, but like having the courage to stand up for myself and advocate for myself regardless of the outcome of it. And listen, I know that if the situation would have gone bad and he would have just like dipped and left me in Connecticut, which would have been really shitty. But I mean, I know that I could have called Philip and been like, hey, like, this is the situation. I know you're like 600 miles away, but I'm in Connecticut. And he would have been like, okay, well, if your friend can't come get you, which I'm sure she could have, but worst case scenario, he would have gotten me an Uber to an airport and he would have gotten me back to where I belonged, whether that was home or back to my friends.
Yeah, we would've worked out some way. Luckily, none of that happened. Your friend up there seemed to take it like a champ, and I mean, he ended up getting to have a little bit of fun that night.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was definitely an interesting situation for you. I think mine was as interesting for me. It was a new experience. It was something that honestly I probably don't want to do again, like by myself.
Right. I was going to say, we definitely do want to try a Friday night where we go as a couple. But I think just like for your personality in general, I think that you do better having me be your like wingman in a situation because I do kind of
I
pull.
think we feed off of one
We
another
do feed
too.
off of each other,
Right.
yes.
It just is kind of our dynamic. So nothing against playing alone. And I think, if we wanted to play alone, we'd have those conversations, we'd talk about it. I just don't see myself going back to like a Friday night at a club by myself.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
But
think we have
oh,
more fun
goodness,
together.
it was a good time. But yeah, so that's where we'll leave it, I guess.
Yeah. First time solo play, and it worked out the way that it worked out. And not to say that we will never do it again. We definitely will at
Mhm.
some point with the right people
Right.
and the right situation.
We've kind of solo played with another couple where we went into a different area from each other
For a little while,
for a little
yeah.
while. We came back together and then we all played as a group, but for a little while.
Yeah. So solo play can be fun and it can definitely have its hiccups, but that's natural in the process and figuring out, what you want and what you don't want. As I say with everything, don't knock anything until you try it. We don't ever yuck anyone's yum. So even if it's not something that we're into, if it's what you're into, definitely go for it.
Absolutely. All right. Until next time, guys.
See you later.
Bye.